Once in a blue moon, you come across a game that feels like it was made just for you. Despite some of its flaws or other people not seeming to care for it, you can't help but love every pixel from start to finish. And that's exactly how I felt about Sea of Stars. I was a huge fan of The Messenger, Sabotage Studios' first game where jumping through time portals switches the graphics from 8-bit to 16-bit, and simple platforming turns into a full-blown Metroidvania. So to hear that their next adventure was a turn-based RPG set as a prequel to The Messenger, I was all in from the second I heard about it. And now, nearly a full year after release, I can say that not only did it deliver on such a hefty promise, it became my unequivocal game of the year in 2023. While it's not necessarily doing something brand new to warrant the label of good game design, it simply elevates every aspect of the game in such undeniable fashion that I can't help but sing its praises. Let's talk about how an ambitious sophomore effort turned into a perfected gem for the ages. The goal of both Sea of Stars and The Messenger was to take beloved elements of classic games and give them a fresh coat of paint and polish them to today's standards. And while The Messenger drew inspiration from Ninja Gaiden and other NES platformers, Sea of Stars wanted to take on a much more daunting task of modernizing 90s RPGs, like the flawless Chrono Trigger and lauded Mario RPG and Paper Mario series. But from the second you boot up the title screen, it's clear that the art direction was one of Sabotage's top priorities. I'm pretty sure this is the single best use of pixel art that exists in a video game, and there's science to back it up. They actually did a study on it at the University of My Eyeballs. Seriously though, look at it, it's absolutely gorgeous. And as someone who just got into pixel art myself recently, I know how much time that must have taken. So kudos to the artists on this project because the detail is actually insane. Look at some of these bosses. Even the HUD elements and little things like chests are all smooth AF, as the kids say, I believe. But apparently that wasn't enough, because they also decided to include a dynamic lighting system and day-night cycle that can be adjusted at will by the player, which took the team 6 months to look right without breaking the immersion of its classic aesthetic. The result is an overworld that's a total joy to move around in because everything feels fluid and looks great.
In terms of traversal, breaking free from the grid, like no tile-based movement, you go in and out of water, and then having these animations like climbing and all the angles, hoisting up, grabbing the ledges. It's not like, oh, this is my grid, and then this is the art. You're always like a part of everything, and you can touch things, you can feel them.
Dungeons are clever, but not overly challenging, sort of a Zelda-light approach, much like the Paper Mario titles. Plus, they decided to ditch random encounters and let battles play out right in the field you're traversing. So for the most part, gathering items and solving mini-puzzles to get loot is seamless and keeps the journey impeccably paced. But the music might somehow be even better than the art style. I don't usually spend much time talking about songs on these videos, but Sea of Stars certainly warrants it, because it might be the best soundtrack I've heard since, well, The Messenger, which was also made by Rainbow Dragon Eyes. And both are some of the select few gaming albums that I keep in my regular music rotation to this day. The OST actually has 3 discs, one for all the daytime themes, one with altered instrumentation for the night themes, and one of pirate sea shanty versions of tunes for when you encounter the bardcore band in taverns. Yep, they used actual instruments like the concertina and tin whistle for these ones. That takes serious dedication right there. The first few hours of the game are straight bangers back to back, and it feels like Eric Brown's best work yet. My favorite track has to be the Mountain Trail theme. I can bop to that chorus for hours straight. Each area seems distinct and truly lived in because of the art and music melding together with perfect harmony. In fact, that might be Sea of Stars' biggest strength. All of the various islands you visit feel like real places. Bustling and eerie, cozy and otherworldly. Brisk might be the best RPG town I've ever seen, with the way it layers verticality on top of itself and hides pathways behind the camera perspective. And as I said, because this takes place in the same universe as The Messenger, it was so much fun to uncover little nuggets of lore and backstory for fans of the first game. One of the most mysterious areas in the Messenger was the Sunken Shrine. In addition to a power-up that lets you walk on water, you get a response from the Solstice Warriors themselves, which certainly alluded to a grander context of the world, so it was really rewarding to see exactly what happened ages ago. Intimately understanding what Zale and Valere went through gave more weight when I went and replayed the original too. And I love that just when the adventure was starting to get stale or I felt like I knew what was going on, they throw a huge hurdle by taking you to Mesa Island specifically to relive all the locations the Messenger traveled through but thousands of years prior. Hearing remixes of the tracks and feeling the same vibes while viewing it through a new lens was just the right amount of fan service. Something as simple as a rundown cottage now had real story beats and purpose. The creepy Quilshroom Marsh used to be happy and joyous, with the mushrooms singing the same tune but in a major key. Discovering a clockwork castle that explains the robotic butler in the sky, or meeting the inhabitants that used to populate the Cloud Ruins were all beautifully mind-blowing. They literally rebuilt Autumn Hills piece by piece to replicate the first stage in the Messenger, but from a top-down perspective. That attention to detail that most players wouldn't even notice is so amazing. Understanding how Manfred's ancestor got his name, building a new home for the residents of Mirth, or frickin' Garl, the best boy of best boys? I can't believe a game like this got me to care about a simple side character, but I would die for Garl in a heartbeat. The list goes on and on. It's clear that there's such a fountain of passion that pours into Sabotage's titles, and they know when to expand on old ideas and when to breathe new creations into existence. Perhaps the best example of this is at the core of Sea of Stars' experience, the combat. It's easy to see where most of the influence came from here. You have timed hits from Paper Mario to spice up attacks or defense, and combo moves with other party members just like Chrono Trigger. But the live mana and elemental lock mechanics ensure battles are always engaging and satisfying to execute. When you strike an enemy normally, they pop out little energy balls, which can be absorbed to give future moves an elemental power based on which character uses them. And these are key to deciphering how to break the locks of certain baddies' attacks. These start out easy enough, but as more elements are added to the party, they get more and more complex. And instead of trying to figure out how to stop moves completely, you may have to decide which guy is more important to focus on, or how you can reduce the power of an attack most effectively. And that complexity only increases when you get the grapple hook, which allows you to essentially first strike an encounter and get some live mana for free at the start of each battle. Some skills hit multiple times, but it could also be worth it to save up a combo move boosted with live mana to break the most locks. It all depends on what options are presented to you, and it makes each battle feel fresh and unique. On top of this, they tweaked other design choices, like being able to switch party members without wasting a turn, or that when someone is KO'd, they revive automatically after a few turns, so you don't have to keep stocked up on Phoenix Downs or whatever. In fact, items themselves are boiled down to just recipes that you can cook at cauldrons, and you're limited to 10 at a time, so this aspect never felt overwhelming, nor did it feel overpowered. You just stock up on what you can and have to use your ingenuity to survive. You never have to grind or overlevel your characters to stand a chance either, even if you skip quite a few battles. It's more about how you approach each situation than brute strength, further adding to that perfect sense of flow. Sea of Stars is a pretty lengthy game, but even by the ending, I didn't want it to be over. And that's why I'm so glad they included my favorite thing a title can have, post-game content to reward those that simply want more game to play. After reaching the final boss, you can choose to take on special side quests to trigger these mysterious glyphs and unlock the true ending of Sea of Stars. And this involves more challenging bosses, secret puzzles, and scouring the land for hidden collectibles. It reminded me a lot of the endgame quests for each character in Chrono Trigger, which ended up being the most memorable part for me. Some of these encounters are the best in the game, but they don't mess around either. It'll put your skills to the test and make sure you fully engage in all the systems at play here, including an entire minigame they've included called Wheels. I can't say it was my favorite thing to play, but the fact that it's included again shows just how much they were willing to go to bat for their world building. And if that isn't enough for you, there's even more hidden goodies for completionists that I don't want to spoil. I finished every achievement in this game, and I don't ever do that for other titles. That's how much I was loving every minute of it. And believe me, the true ending is absolutely worth going for. If you know why, you know. Some people feel that the story leaves a lot of unanswered questions or felt like a cliffhanger, But at least for me, that just gives more reason to get hyped for the next experience they're building, and dive deeper into the theories the community is starting to pull from the finer details.
Like the key metric that we have is everything should be done before the player is, right? You're always wanting something more.
After playing both The Messenger and Sea of Stars, it's become clear to me that Sabotage has become one of the best indie studios in the game right now, alongside other behemoths like Yacht Club, Supergiant, and Team Cherry. They are a force to be reckoned with. And while their first foray was fun mechanically and had strong humor, Sea of Stars shows that they're capable of creating more than just nostalgia-driven titles. So I'll be first in line for whatever they cook up next. If you've played Sea of Stars, what was your favorite aspect of it? Is there anything else you'd like to see Sabotage tackle with their next game? Let me know in the comments below and let's talk about it. Thanks for watching another episode of Good Game Design. I'll see you next time. Stay frosty, my friends.